Welcome to episode 17 of If They Won't Listen with our hosts, Richard, Spencer, and Christopher, and our guest today, Josh, of the podcast that he will say he's from. How you doing, Josh?
Hi, I'm good. I'm one of the hosts for the WWSD podcast. We're fairly new. We've been going for about 3 to 4 weeks now, and we're up to episode 7.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. Sweet. So we got a lot of fun things to talk about this week. One thing I need to get filled in on is what's going on with HBO. So what's the sitch, Spencer?
Oh, I thought we were going to go back to McDonald's, but
Oh,
that's okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you know, with today's technology, we can sit in McDonald's and watch it.
That's true. That's true. No, all right. So within the past month, HBO has announced that they will be releasing the movies that they'd be releasing in theaters. They would also be showing on HBO Max also, without paying an extra fee like you would have done with Disney Plus's Mulan. So a lot of people, specifically in Hollywood, are very upset about this. The big person who's upset the most about this, who's making the most amount of media attention, is Christopher Nolan. And the reason why is because for a majority of his filmography career, he has basically done work solely with the Warner Brothers. And the fact that Warner Brothers is tied behind HBO Max and everything, and they're going to be releasing some films out, he finds it very disturbing. Disturbing the fact is that apparently people are upset that they feel that the craft is no longer going to be taken seriously because it's going to be shown from a person's home. And that to me is a very interesting question, because it's like, why are they so upset about us watching it from home? Don't get me wrong, I love the movie theaters. I was one of those people who went to midnight premieres before it was a really great thing to do. It was beautiful.
This right here is your answer, brother, in a nutshell. It's all about the ticket sales and the merchandising and all of that.
Yeah, but
it really doesn't matter. And in the age we're in right now, and I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, but in the age of COVID, they had to do something to make their money. They don't care about anybody underneath them. The major production companies need their money, so they're going to get it any way they can. Giving it to HBO Max, everybody gets to see it when it was supposed to come out because we can't go to theaters. But everybody else on the bottom rungs get screwed.
Yeah, but everyone's also experiencing a lot. Like, don't get me wrong. There's not one single movie corporation who's going to walk away with the plus sign this year. Like, everyone's been damaged the same way. The question is, how are you going to respond to this? And this is the thing that that the companies are starting to respond. And the way they're going to do is they want to do video on demand. And that's a very interesting thing to do. And it opens up a lot of doors. And you speak about money. You could obviously charge somebody $40 possibly to watch a film that they could watch in theaters. And then you appease both people. You appease the corporation because they get a chunk of your money because they're showing you a new product. And then you're happy because you just get to sit at your home, drink your beer, and, enjoy it on your day off.
Well, Disney did that with Mulan. They charged $30 additionally on top of the Disney Plus subscription, where you had to pay $30 just to see Mulan.
Yeah, it's sad that the movie wasn't as good as the money.
I don't know what the deal is with that. I've got HBO, and I'm borrowing some of Netflix's account. But
Did you say that on the air?
I'm not concerned about it. Big Netflix ain't watching me. A little over here. But no, I have a HBO account and a Disney Plus account, and I watched Mulan with my girl the other day, and we didn't have to pay $30. I didn't fucking pay.
They just recently allowed it opened up for regular subscriptions for Mulan within the last month.
Yeah, so it was just like the new release thing.
Yeah, like that first
they
month
want
or so.
people to actually.
Cool.
I don't think I could bring myself to pay $30 just to watch a 2-hour movie that in a couple of months I'll be able to watch for free with whatever subscription I've got.
Well, let me ask you something. What happens if it's the Robert Pattinson Batman movie? Would you pay $30 then?
No, actually, I would not. However, hold on. This gets better.
Okay.
I did recently pay $30 for something that I haven't even seen yet. My biggest issue with COVID isn't the movie theaters. The movie theaters, I mean, it sucks. I used to take my son every year because his birthday is the day after Christmas. I used to take him to the movies, and we would go see, especially, because this is the way the trend has been the last few years. Every year it would be the new Star Wars movie. We would go to the theater for his birthday, along with everything else, and see the new Star Wars movie. Awesome. Can't do that this year. Not going to lie, I'm a little pissed. It is what it is. But other than that, wouldn't go to see movies that often. Every once in a while, my biggest issue, myself and my girlfriend, and I know a lot of other people are in the same boat, is concerts. The last concert I got to see was last October. We went to see ICP out in Clifton Park. Amazing show. It was on their Hollow Wicked part of because it was in October. It was awesome. I'm wearing my Black Label shirt. Got a shirt from whatever, but we had tickets to go see other acts and whatever this year, and never happened. I paid $30 for a virtual ticket for Attack of the Ninjas, which is the whole Magic Ninja Entertainment label. I don't know how much of this am I allowed to say and plug on this, Ricky.
Dude, I don't have a fucking rule book. All I know is that there's no one complaining, so we see.
Well, so they're probably not going to complain about the free publicity, so whatever, So it's the whole Magic Ninja Entertainment label. It's Twisted and Boondocks and Blaze, and everybody on the label is supposed to be there that night. It's the 30th, 7:00. Me and my girl, we're going to sit here, basically shut everything else off, and we're going to watch a concert from our couch, which nothing like a real concert experience. We went to see ICP. It was awesome. We were in the front row. We got soaked with Fago. She was on the stage for the last number. It was absolutely amazing. And that's what I miss most. And that is what I will pay $30 for. But the new Batman movie, I'll wait until I can, rent it at the Red Box for $2 or $3.
So, okay. But you would, what about with the Star Wars movie then?
With the new Star Wars movie, okay, I might do it.
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to critique you to make you feel bad.
No.
I would do the
good.
exact same thing. I would pay for the Star Wars. I would pay for the Batman. I'll pay for whatever IP you tell me to that I enjoy. Because why? I would love to have the experience of watching it.
I mean, even $30 is pretty reasonable. If you go to the movies with your girl, how much is that going to run you? Was it like
$50, $60?
Yeah, easily. And that's like,
you
have to sit in like a sticky seat that's uncomfortable with kids around you. If you watch it at your house, you have it on your big screen. You can pause it if you have to go to the bathroom. Yeah. You can rewind it if you didn't catch something. I mean, you get all those luxuries.
Beer. We can have our dinner while we're watching the damn movie.
Yeah. You don't have to wear pants. Like, I'm already sold.
That's a different conversation.
Yeah.
We'll have that one after the camera shuts off.
Love movies at home. The concept of that makes me delighted. Like, I've waited before to watch movies solely at home just because there was a certain experience I envisioned in the encapsulation of seeing it for the first time. Like, there's some movies that are are benefited by like psychedelics, for instance. And it's like the first time I see that, I don't want to be at a big screen, like Josh said, with a bunch of people and a bunch of noise. Now, there's other times where, like a comedy, I appreciate in a theater. I like hearing other people's laughter because, okay, maybe I missed a joke. What's going on here? But on the same topic, how many of you have seen the new Mulan? Because I watched it, and I'm not the person you want to ask the opinion of any movie, because I'm like, oh well, I like this and I like this guy, and I'm so biased, it's disgusting. But my wife hated it. She did not like the new Mulan at all. She thinks it was disgusting with no Mushu and a whole bunch of factors and facets that did not actually exist in the movie. How many have you seen it? Have you actually seen it?
I haven't even seen the first one.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
But you see, my kids and my girlfriend's all grown. Her youngest is actually here right now visiting with us for just a minute for Christmas. One person COVID safe. She's in one of those households where you have to be safe because whatever. So, but anyway, yeah, no, and she's 18. So all of ours are young enough or old enough that Mulan wasn't really a thing.
Touche. You got me. my girl was in big hype. Like she knows every song from the first one. So when the second one came out, one of the biggest differences is there's zero singing. There's not a single song in the new Mulan.
That's weird for a Disney movie, unless it's like Star Wars.
No,
well, it's a live action, or I haven't seen any of the live action Disney movies. Do they normally have songs in them?
Oh, it's live action.
I don't know. I'm not. That's not what I'm. If they did, I'd be like, yeah, let's get it. The sword fight with a song, okay.
I didn't even know it was live action, so you're doing better than I am.
I mean, it was good. Yeah, no, it was real people. It was not cinematic, and it was good. I mean, anything that's non-US fighting is a little theatrical because they're all about I forget the exact word, but if you were to Google what is the type of sword fighting where you strike sword on sword and not actually go for kill shots, there's an actual like real name from Chinese or Japanese or something for that type of sword fighting, and it's a very theatrical movie type of thing. And I've seen a lot of those tropes lately because my wife is busy watching Asian dramas. She's going from A to B to C to D. And like there's so many more Asians than there are us. Like there's the plethora is being rude to how many there are, and it's just it's absolutely funny. But yeah, that's pretty cool. You guys seen any other movies lately that have been good?
Movies?
Yeah. Yeah. What is it? I actually saw Thelma and Louise for the first time like a week ago, and I gotta tell you something. That was a really hyped up movie for me on so many different angles.
I know what it is.
What is that?
I have no idea what it is.
It's a movie starring Gina Davis and Susan
Never seen
Sarandon.
Thelma and Louise.
See, there you go. Like, yeah, that's how I was.
It's got to be a generational thing, man. We're the old heads.
I don't know. Like I was born in '86. Am I old? I don't know. I feel like I'm 13 still.
You're
Well,
8.
you're kind of in the middle. You're older than he is.
Yeah, but you're younger. Are you young? You're younger than you though.
Yeah, you were born in '83.
86.
Yeah.
86. Oh yeah, no.
But what about you, Josh? If it's not,
No, I'm 31. I was born in '89. But like I've never seen the movie. I just know like the ending because it's just referenced in like so many different things where they're driving off. Like that's such a pop culture thing at this point.
Really? It's like a pop fiction, like pull it out of the barrel type of boom boom type reference. It's good.
Yeah. I'll put it this way. It's been referenced in The Simpsons quite a few times.
Yeah.
And dude, they predicted so many things.
Right?
Yeah. Like Fox to Disney.
Them Family Guy.
I don't know anything about Family Guy, but I've seen that post of
Family Guy predicted Bruce Jenner having that sex change years before.
I forget all the list of the Simpsons things, but there was like this I don't even know who Siegfried and Roy is, but I know that his tiger, gonna eat him because he didn't, and then everyone thought, the Simpsons were like, no, his tiger's gonna fuck him up, and
they were actual trainers. They were big stars in the Las Vegas and circuits. They were highly sought after. If Siegfried and Roy were there, you knew it was going to be an awesome show. They were the best. And, then one of them got mauled. What the fuck do you think was going to happen? It's like, wow. It's like the crocodile hunter. What did you think was going to happen, dude? Eventually, one of them's not going to act right.
Steve Irwin, man, he was killing it, bro. Like he did nothing wrong, and I think he went out happy. Like dying by an animal is something I think he accepted long before that.
He was doing something he loved, and he died doing it.
Yeah, amen. I hope I go out like he did. You know what I mean? Shit. But
shit, if I go out like that, I'm gonna get hit by a car.
So I know you have a few more things down the barrel, Spencer. But Josh, do you have anything provocative that you want to discuss? I mean, I know there's a lot of political.
So back to the HBO thing. I mean, I believe movie theaters were like on their way out prior to COVID. They were like failing. They were going under. They were like already declaring bankruptcy. So I mean, I don't think necessarily COVID's the issue. I just think the Warner Brothers type companies are just trying to get ahead of it because they kind of see the downfall. Like it's kind of written on its walls. Where it's even without COVID, they would probably still be doing really poor.
Yeah, well, that goes right along with what I was saying. I mean, how many people are going to pay that to go to the? It's been stopping for years. Honestly, Redbox killed the movie theaters like all the digital audio killed CDs.
It's not even just Redbox, like Netflix, Amazon, like every streaming service. Like
Yeah, you know, you wait a couple of months, it's on the Red Box. You wait a couple more months, it's on Netflix. A couple more months, it's on Hulu. I mean, why? You know, or you can pay Amazon Prime or somebody for you pay them like $3, $4, $5 to watch the movie 2 or 3 months after it's released in the theaters.
And like movies, you don't have to see like the first day it comes out. Like we've all seen movies 30 plus years after they released, and it's still just as good. Like
Yes.
you don't gain anything from like seeing it that opening weekend. Outside of a couple ones, like a Marvel movie, maybe seeing it in theaters on the big screen with all the explosions, like that would be that's cool. But like other movies like Thelma and Louise, like you don't need to go to sit in a theater to see that. Like, you'll still get just as much enjoyment from it.
See, and it's just that too, you know, like the Marvel movies and Star Wars and whatever, those were definitely worth seeing in the theater. Definitely dating myself because we haven't even gone that far yet. I saw the first Star Wars in the theaters. My parents took me when, I was
You're old.
I was young. You know, when I saw Empire Strikes Back in the theaters, I saw Jedi in the theaters, I saw Star Trek the Motion Theater in the theaters. Fox and the Hound, Tootsie, saw those when I was a kid at the drive-in.
That's actually people are saying drive-ins might come back in a response to COVID, just because people don't want to be around people, but drive-ins would be perfectly reasonable to bring back.
They've actually been doing it around here. This summer, they had something going on up in Brandon, about 15, 20 minutes north of here. They set up a drive-in type theater in the park that they usually hold the like fall carnival or whatever in. And it appeared to do really, really well. I think they might have had one in Rutland. They might have been doing up at Depot Park, but that's a really bad spot because it's where 7 and 4 meet, coming right through the center of town. And it's not like it's Vermont 7 and 4, it's US 7 and US 4. So lots of traffic all day long. But up in Brandon, that's beautiful out there.
Now, you said you're a concert goer. Would you go see a concert at like a drive-through? Like, would you sit in your car and watch a concert? Because I know like comedians have been doing drive-through like comedy shows, and they've been doing pretty well in certain areas. So I was wondering if, like, from a concert standpoint, would that be something you would go sit in your car and watch?
I think with a comedian, it's a little bit different because they're telling jokes and everybody's laughing and whatever. But with a concert, there's a more, at least if the band is good, there's a more electric, more personal feel through the whole. I mean, doing the digital ticket like we're doing, it's going to be good, you know, because we're going to see all these bands that we like, all these acts that we like up on stage, and it's going to be amazing. But concerts, there's a more personal feel of having, you know, and like my favorite ones are in a bar. You know, where we went to see ICP, used to be Northern Lights. It's like Upstate Concert Hall or something now in Clifton Park. And it's pretty tightly packed. When I went to see Guar years ago, pretty much every show I go to, there's some kind of a pit. Breaks out in the middle of the show. You know what's going to happen. It's part of the package. It's what it is. Guar, there was no room for a pit. That bar was packed so tightly, and through the whole show, the whole crowd just kind of moved and swayed and ebbed back and forth like it was one big pit for the whole show. ICP, one of the most electric shows I have ever been to. They just the fact that they kept shooting off Fago into the crowd. I got hit by a 2-liter bottle in the face a couple of times. That was awesome. You will never hear anyone, including me, ever say that about any other event or happening ever. You know, man, I was over here and somebody hit me with a 2-liter bottle. I kicked their ass. No. This was amazing. I was honored to be hit in the face with a 2-liter bottle. It's that kind of electric thing when you go to a concert. If you're a concert goer, if you're that into music, you can't match it. You can't get that feel from a drive-in. You can't get that feel from, again, it's going to be nice because we're going to get to see them. We're going to get to see them all perform live. It's nothing like being right there in front row, right there in the middle of it. You know, because you can feel it, the energy coming off the stage, the energy from everybody else around you. I know at this point I'm kind of repeating myself, but it bears repeating if you're, you know, that big into it like I am. I love shows. I've seen so many bands. I've been to Ozfest 4 times. I've seen Ozzy. I've met Ozzy. I've seen Black Sabbath twice. I've seen Iron Maiden. I've seen Judas Priest. I've seen Five Finger Death Punch. I've seen Cradle of Filth. I've seen Voivod. I've seen Metallica. I've seen Mushroomhead. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. I love my live shows. Absolutely love them. This is killing me this year to not be able to go to any damn shows.
I love your enthusiasm for music and bands. It's really sweet to actually hear. My only question is, do you still go to Metallica post Napster?
Was that like 20 years ago at this point?
Yeah.
You know, I hate to even say this, and I wish I had seen them back in the day. I wish I had been able to see Cliff Burton live. That was such a loss. That man was such a prodigy. He was such an awesome bassist. I didn't get to see them until after Jason Newsted left. I saw them with Rob Trujillo on the St. Anger tour. It was Summer Sanitarium 2003. Mudvayne opened up. It was Deftones, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, and Metallica. And they're absolutely amazing. Now, ironically, funny, I don't know if it's irony or it's just kind of funny, also went to Ozfest that year. That was the first year we went to Ozfest. Saw Voivod with Jason Newsted back on bass, which was kind of cool.
That must have you must have had like a real face melt when that happened.
It was amazing. Both, but both shows were absolutely incredible.
Now, that's a pretty sick lineup you got from, what was it you said, 2003?
Yeah, Summer Sanitarium 2003. We saw them. My ex-wife and I saw them in Gillette Stadium.
Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been a real treat.
It was amazing. Right in the middle of the show, in the middle of Limp Bizkit's set, suddenly Fred jumps off the stage, hauls ass through the crowd. Security's trying like hell to catch him. Can't do it. He gets in the middle of the stage, and there was this guy running around that we saw through the whole show wearing shorts and a pair of cowboy boots and an American flag draped across. There's no shirt, nothing else. Fred jumps off the stage, hauls ass to the middle of the very center of the stadium, jumps up on top of a beer cart that's there. The guy happened to be right there, pulls him up on top of it, and finishes the song. They were doing Man Behind Blue Eyes. Finishes the song there on the beer cart with this dude, his arm around him. It was one of the most amazing things I have ever seen. And see, that's the shit I'm talking about. There's a personal thing that you can't get from a drive-in or sitting in your home for these concerts. You can't make this shit up, and you can't see this shit unless it's there.
No, yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, Spencer, but you're totally right, Chris. But what do you think the alternative is? Like, if COVID's precedence is so much so that too many deaths would be lost being close to each other, is the alternative no events? Because I mean, Joe Rogan brings this up a lot with comedy shows. Like, there's some comedians who are doing parking lot drive-in type shows, and they're getting scorned by the media and tons of people. And quite frankly, they're people like, Joe Rogan, and they don't really, Dave Chappelle, and they don't really give a shit. Like, they don't. They're like,
of course.
we're going to give comedy to people because that's our job. But it's quite detrimental. I mean, I have to wonder, like, in the last year, I've never been told that we're breaking records for deaths. And I'm not going to lie. Well, we were just talking. I was looking over at this monitor, and I was doing a little research. And as far as population goes, the biggest population that could skew a statistic would be India. They have so many people, it's just disproportionate to the amount of cases, and so you would expect
India and China.
You'd think so, but China wasn't even top 5.
No, because they made it. They already knew how to avoid this shit.
Possibly, but it still comes down to this crazy, like, we're number 1. You know what I mean? Literally the first, second.
Well, it's because we're testing.
USA. Oh, sorry.
I mean, if we stop the testing, obviously we won't be number 1.
Maybe, but we haven't even tested like 25% of the population. Like not at all. Like we're not at 50 million tests. We're at like 25 million. And I'm surely not a fucking pathologist or an immunologist.
That's why I didn't like taking statistics in college. It was the absolute. I'm good at it, but it's the most bullshit subject ever because Statistics are just that. They take this group over here and this group over here, and this group over here, and they crunch numbers. What about all the people you didn't look at?
Now, there's a lot of detrimental stuff, and we've talked about it a lot, so I'm definitely not going to touch on it as in depth as I did before, but it comes down to the understanding in 10 seconds or less that we don't have the proper testing to tell you whether someone had COVID. And so if there's any level of suspicion, even if it's 1% suspicion that someone died for a weirder cause than their illness presented reasons, then they call it COVID. And it's quite literally almost every death. And a lot of people have a problem with that. And it just comes down to a line of thought, because like, what else are you going to do? Literally, like, are you going to say that people who literally are dying of COVID, but you can't prove it, aren't? Because that's not accurate. But if you say, when in doubt, fucking COVID, it's not accurate per se, but it's closer to accurate than it being not counted at all. I'd rather know that 25% of what the statistic says is fucked up than know that 80% wasn't reported. Because it's more important to me it's reported in general than it is if it's reported in generally wrong.
Well, see, here's the thing that most people don't understand. And as much as I'm sick of talking about COVID at this point, because it's just permeated our lives, I much prefer life before COVID. But
Do you remember life before COVID?
I
stopped
do
remembering.
actually, dude. I remember back far enough to remember rotary telephones.
Not me, bro.
Yeah, I remember 8-track tapes. Let's not go there.
Nope, not today.
I had to take for my job, for my position. I was one of the few in here, but I had to take a course to become a what the hell do they call it? It was a COVID safety resource officer. So COVID, a lot of people don't know this. If you haven't seen one of the little COVID virus molecules or whatever they're called, it's like a little ball with not spikes, but the equivalent of little nail heads.
Yeah, like a barb. It's like a barb.
It's not even a barb. It's like a nail head. And it gets in there and you can't get it out. It's not even like a barb. So where you could, you pull hard enough or cut something off. Nope. It gets in there and it kind of stays in there. But what people don't understand is it basically acts like a respiratory equivalent of AIDS, except that you can get rid of this. It is capable. The human body will expel it eventually, or whatever. Whereas HIV doesn't exactly work like that. But the problem is, people say, "Oh, this person died of COVID." No, those people did not die of COVID. Not one person has actually died of COVID. What they died from was other complications from other issues, particularly respiratory, but it could be anything that could have life-threatening consequences under the right circumstances, under the perfect storm, because what it does is it weakens your immune system. And again, particularly with respiratory illnesses, it gets in there and allows everything else to come through and take control and really wipe you out, which is why only people who are sick to begin with were high-risk cases to begin with. The young, the really young, the old and infirm were the only ones dying actually of COVID. Nobody else has. Nobody, I mean,
it totally
quote me, because I'm sure there's a few people here and there, but for the most part, nobody has died of COVID. It's always something else.
Now, there's like the predispositions to COVID. Like, first of all, I don't know if you have seen the movie Passengers, but in it with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Aniston. Wow, that Jennifer Lawrence. Boom, got it. It was
too many Jennifers in the entertainment industry.
They're all attractive. I don't care the confusion, but
I don't know, man. There's a couple. What was her name? Jennifer Grey? Is that the one that was in Dirty Dancing?
I don't even know, but if that's true, that's too many Jennifers.
I never got it because she was kind of cute, I guess, but the nose was nope. I've seen smaller. I think Jimmy Durante had a smaller nose.
No, but they had a machine in that movie that they diagnosed the captain of the ship with, and it came up with whatever 800 illnesses, and and it could, as a computer system, tell them exactly what it was per every illness. So, they called it like an auto med or an auto bay or something. Regardless of that, though, we don't even have the science to know most of our illnesses. And up until COVID-19, uh, coronaviruses were a blanket statement name for a generic virus that wasn't prolific. It didn't soar through the world. It was a common thing that you didn't even have to know. But when you had the sniffles, you had it. And it's like you don't need to be an immunologist or a pathologist, you know what I mean, someone who studies viruses or blood, to understand that. And I mean, me personally, I've lost. I'm almost done with being able to count with one hand for how many family members I've lost. You know, and I've had people confront to me like and be like, "Oh, well, it doesn't even exist," and it's like, okay, well, I mean, I'm aware of anecdotal research. Like I could be skewed. The 5 statistics I have are all wrong. I'm a small person. The world's huge. Yada yada, so forth and so on. But it this is. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like I love you to death, Chris. This shit's scary. Like
Oh no, I'm not saying it's not scary. Don't get it wrong. And I'm not saying it's not a real threat. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying the virus itself, the COVID virus itself, doesn't kill people. It lets other shit in to do the fucking dirty work. If you already have a predisposition to something, that's what's going to take you out. COVID is not going to take you out. You're going to die of some complication from diabetes or from some kind of super flu or whatever. Something else is going to take you out. Now, I mean, you know all of this. I'm not downplaying any of this shit by any means because I got somebody very, very close to me who was told by a doctor because of issues, pre-existing issues, that if they catch COVID, if they get it, they're on a timer and they'll probably be dead before they show any symptoms. This shit is scary. I'm not downplaying it by any means. I'm just saying, technically, they're saying these deaths are because of COVID. COVID isn't what's killing people. They're also putting COVID on death certificates that had absolutely nothing to do with it.
I know, but we already said that. Like they can't prove. And I'm gonna give Spencer and Josh here a chance to take a whack at the bat here. But like they can't. If you don't have the technology to prove what you're pushing, whether it be verbally or you know in a medical sense, what are you gonna do? Like this is unprecedented. I mean, the whole world is in detriment, the entire world. You know, I mean, I can right now. Like there was a time when in Europe they were occupying ice hockey rinks to store bodies. Like what? It's been like 9-10 months since I've seen that headline, and it still fucking bothers me. And I grew up in the projects, and I've literally witnessed people die, and that's not a verbose, egregious. Oh my god, I'm arrogant, but like quite literally, I've experienced trauma. I'm not the metric that tells you, oh, I'm remotely, you know, shy to that. I've seen a lot of trauma, and still, right now, this year is nuts. Number one, most deadly day in America was a hurricane, and number two was the Civil War, and number three was 9/11. And maybe I have those three mixed, but regardless, I'm positive that's what they were. Those three. Number 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all fucking COVID. Like, and maybe that's a statistic, but maybe it leans on that's fucking serious as shit. Like, top 10 most deadly days in America, half of them are in the last month. And like, that's a little remote. Like, I'm not worried at my age. And I mean, you guys are older than me, and I don't think you're worried. You're all to some degree healthy, and this is really taking out people of massive detriment. And even at that, like even if we could weigh that I'm in danger and Josh is in danger and we're all in danger, it's like, well, what are you going to do? You can't fight an invisible enemy. So unless you have some invisible power, you know. But I mean, what's your take on this, Josh? Where do you stand? Like, I mean, I know.
So one of the things that actually scares me more than like COVID itself is the after effects, because there's people like we don't know, like there's a lot of people that have it and they're fine with it, but they're showing studies that like this is doing permanent damage to your lungs, permanent damage to your body. So you can have it, not even realize it, and then 30 years from now you have a fucking stroke because of it. Like, so that's like all the long-term damage we're not even aware of yet because we're still researching it. I actually read over the last couple of days that apparently it's causing erectile dysfunction now, like permanent erectile dysfunction.
Hope not. God.
And so it's like shit like that. Like, yeah, you can have it, you can be fine, but then like down the road, you might have some complication because of it. And it's just a time bomb. And that's like almost as scary because we can get vaccinated tomorrow and all that. But people that had it and were fine, that they can still be at risk.
Yeah,
No.
well, and then we have to worry about the side effects from the vaccinations. We've already seen what that does, and just the fact that they're rushing everything, which I understand why, but you can't do that because who the hell knows? 10, 15 years down the road, the vaccinations might kill half the population. Then what are you going to do?
Or sterilize them or do anything? Like, there's
sterilize them. We're fucking, the human race is doomed right there. We're done.
No, I mean, you guys are completely right. And I'm 26. I'm quite literally terrified. And I did a podcast today at 2:00 on metaphysics and existentiality and
overachiever.
Suck my dick.
No.
Not physically.
What you have a girlfriend for?
She doesn't do it either. Why would I ask her? That's why I took out if they won't listen. She's the most predominant they. But no, I love.
Which we need to talk about that song, by the way, and see if we need licensing rights because that's perfect.
No, he did a funny song that talks a lot about like our show. But no, like this is a crazy, unprecedented year for me, and I mean obviously it's for the world. Like I don't know what to say about this. Me personally, I understand saying vaccines are bad is overall bad. Like that's it. They are healthy. The reason we've pushed to almost triple digits in life expectancy is due to science that involves medicine on the vaccine level. But in that same vein, flu vaccines aren't like they're not in the same. It's so difficult. I don't know what to say. I'm certainly not an expert, but like, goddamn, the fact that I have to think about, if a vaccine becomes available, do I go out of my way to spend my only income to get me and my family, a shot? When
ideally it should be free. I mean, like,
right?
You shouldn't have to pay out of pocket for it. I mean, that's the reason we have government.
You wish, but the 1918 pandemic, the second wave was 4 times as deadly. And so like when you picture that, think about right now, 12 months ago, this wasn't even a thing. It didn't exist, yada, yada. We were all fucking our wives and having fun and going to work and yippee-ki-yay. It's lethal weapon time. But now we're 11 months in, we're reaching double digits of COVID and shit's getting temperamental. Like we have BLM throwing giant riots. Whether you want to say that's due to COVID or not is regardless, quite frankly, that's crazy. And
I don't think it would have been anywhere near as stupid as it got if it hadn't been for COVID, because at that point people were bored more than anything else.
No, you can't go out. You can't work. Me right now, I'm a hard worker. I get a 3-page resume that I've trimmed down to 2 to just be kind of try to be accurate, because 3 is a little bit verbose, and I can't work. I have a cough. I smoked a pack a day for, I don't know, 11 years, and I've quit, and now I'm coughing constantly. I'm coughing up tar and chemicals, and I'm trying to make the healthy path to try to live longer to be a parent. But in that same exact, in those same 2 footsteps, it's like, well, what the fuck am I going to do to combat stress and or mitigate my, resistance to problems? Because it, I mean, in a placebo way, cigarettes help me. But as a sober person, I don't fucking know what to do. And now with COVID, I've now technically lost my job. I'm not working at the same place I am. They didn't give me the words I'm fired, nor did I quit. So it's a little shaky, but I'm technically at the point of looking for a new job, and I have a good prospect and so on and so forth. I'll have benefits and I have a good, I'm the breadwinner of my family. My girl's a full-time mom and I'm a dad. And so I
you have to win your bread. I just go to the store and buy it.
Well, that makes you Skippy.
No, I put Skippy on the bread.
No, but no, it's just this is very weird, and I don't know where it stands or what's to benefit, but COVID has been definitely talked about, I think, to mass extent. And I know Spencer went out of his way. We talked a bunch this week to talk about subjects. I know you had a few things penciled down. So if we had to pick between 2 different things, what do you have anything on the docket as far as things we could talk about?
Dude, I was just letting everything flow as it is. If we're onto this topic of COVID, let's keep rolling with this till it actually plays out. Then
no,
I know. I'm just messing with you.
You're being a dick. That's
so.
His job.
It's not even you guys are constantly talking about COVID. I know on my podcast we literally talk about COVID every podcast, and it's like it's just part of our lives now. It's just
unfortunately,
like I said earlier. Like I don't really remember a time prior to COVID at this point Where it's like I do shit. I'm like, oh yeah, I do this because of COVID now, and like, or I see stuff. I'm like, oh, this is because of COVID. It's just so hard to like go back. Like that's what people are saying. Oh, like next year it'll just flip back to the way it was, which that's even crazier than COVID at this point. Like I can't imagine there's people like all of a sudden like, all right, we're good. Let's move on and pretend this shit didn't happen for last year.
Well, I'm going to derail this for just a second because I'm looking at your background, sir, and I have a couple of questions for you. One, is there a theme or do you just collect the pops? Because I absolutely love them and I have some of my own.
So I've been collecting pops for probably closer to 10 years. I started with just exclusives, like just hunting exclusives. And then they started making so many. It's at the point now, it's just like impossible. Like when I was doing it, was like the Comic-Con exclusives. It was like the Hot Topic exclusives. But now there's like every pop has like 10 different exclusives and they come out with like 1 million themes a month. So it's just impossible. So I actually stopped buying them probably like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah,
those things.
I do love them.
Pokemons.
I've got two.
Maybe that's the problem. You're fucking them. You're not supposed to do that. There was an episode of Rick and Morty like that, wasn't there?
About fucking Pokemons?
Well, fucking imaginary creatures and procreating and then eating the offspring, and it was wow. It was one of the more disturbing ones.
No, I mean, I think I find the pops to be really cool, and how I find it cool because of how they're able to get so many properties.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, to me, that's the most astounding part. Is like literally just give it a little bit of time, and the franchise that you enjoy will be there. And
like
if you're lucky to get it, if you're lucky to get it ahead of time, like when it actually comes out, you're actually the luckiest person on earth. Because within the next like 6 months, that thing went from $10 to $15.
Well, that's what when I originally started collecting was the exclusive. So me and my buddy, we would like, all right, we're going out to the mall. Do you need this one? Do you need that one? So it was like that hunt. And like some of them, like they're pretty expensive. I have a few that are a few $100 a pop. No pun intended. But
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 are
like,
you going to sell them?
I've considered it. Just it's at the point where it's like a space thing. If I ever like just need to get rid of them for space, like I don't necessarily need the money, but it will just be a space like I just don't want to have because they take up like you can only see a little bit, but I have an entire like wall full. I think it's like a few hundred of them.
You know they make clear hard plastic cases for them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are expensive. Those are like $20-$25 a pop. Pun definitely intended.
Yeah.
But they're definitely well worth it.
What's your favorite property?
Oh, I really like the X-Files when they came out just because I'm a big X-Files fanboy. So like stuff like that, like really obscure shows, like that's what I like about it. Supernatural was another one I bought all the exclusives for, but like it was just the hunting the exclusives or more like the Breaking Bad exclusives. There were some really good ones there, but yeah, it's just I guess TV shows.
When you say X-Files, do they also do the CSM?
Oh, Cigarette Smoking Man? Yeah, he was the first one I bought. Like I instantly bought him and Mulder and Scully.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, they did Mulder, Scully, Cigarette Smoking Man, and a random gray alien.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. I mean, it pretty much just sums up the mythology series, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool. All right. Does anybody else have pops?
I got 2 right here.
Yes, you do. What are yours from?
Sorry, they're out of the box.
Of course they are.
What the fudge, FFR?
No resale value.
Right?
I got dust wipes within reach, and I can put them back in the box. You wouldn't even know about it. I tell you that.
Oh, they're people. They'll know.
Oh yeah.
Those collectible guys.
I'm not reselling them. I built this, beauty of a PC by myself with 14 manuals, cross-referencing like 100 hours of YouTube. It was absolutely a work of art, and this is like
using terminology that he can't even pronounce.
Yeah. But no, this is Kirito from SEO and Edward from Full Metal Alchemist, and those are 2 of my favorite animes. I love them. Penguins are my favorite animal. This is a guy from South Park who my girl opened in a gas station toys egg. Kinder eggs that have like half hazelnut chocolate and half toys, and my girl loves them, so she gets them all the time. And this is an owl that's a flashlight, but I was like, that's dope, and I put it on. But no, I did a wicked in-depth podcast today at 2 p.m. and I want to talk about a few of the topics. These had nothing to do with the show, but I brought them up during it because I was sitting in my bed the other day, and I do like multi-purpose things. So I was writing songs, I was thinking of philosophical constraints and ideals. I was contemplating lifely trades, as I call them in this list right here. And I was also reading a 1,200-page realty book to get my realtor's license because I'm working on that as well. And it's an extremely big book, and it's a lot of shit to read. So I read 10 pages, and then I write some things about music, and then I write some other things. But nonetheless, I spoke about this stuff earlier, and I was just thinking about it in a real practical, pragmatic way. And so, I mean, there's lots of times in life that you trade, say, laws for safety. That's the very first thing I have. Like, there's many times in my life where growing up in the projects, I traded my understanding of what was legal and illegal. And I walked the illegal line to be safer as opposed to less than. And further so, and furthermore, I've traded health for sanity. Like I've understood that working out and taking time out of my day when I should be focused on other things could be better focused on, uh reaching a better physical goal. That's a thing I've done, and chemicals for stress. Like I smoked cigarettes for 11 years, and I told myself that every time I get the second to smoke a cigarette, I'm healthier. I'm like, that was the most placebo inaccurate description of anything I could ever illustrate, but they help me during their time. Their time has just ended. And so there's so many things that I want to talk about in a wicked deep, irritating sense. And so I'm just curious, have any of you ever contemplated trading like a delicate thing for another thing, whether it be, the laws that we all covet for your own safety, or health for sanity? I have chemicals for stress. I have pacifistic behaviors for your individual life to continue to keep going. I have friends for family, or soul for music. That last one's quite personal. I'm a musician, so music to me it was weird. The first 6 months of having a daughter, it felt weird having a person you helped make exist, because to me, my 20 something years of existence were propagated by random occurrence, luck, and persistence to continue going. And music really helped that, like, in a main aspect. And so I'm just curious, like, whether it be Spencer, Chris, or Josh, do any of you have any things that, when thought about, you realize that you traded this moment for that thing, or that thing for this moment? What do you think?
I mean, we all kind of traded parts of our lives to like either make more money, to like make our lives better. But even like when we were younger, we all worked like like a shittier job just to, all right, I need to make money so I can do this. So if I can like go back and like save my back from like bending over, like lifting up boxes and like shit like that, because that was not worth the $7 an hour I was making at the time. So like a lot of stuff like that, like the physical abuse we do to ourselves just to live in the moment, which is like, I would just in a heartbeat just go back, like, nah, dude, just go to school, go study this instead, or like do something different or more productive than working like a bullshit like job like that.
If we want to talk about shoulda, woulda, couldas, I would have gone in the Air Force because I had the opportunity, and I'd be retired probably twice by now.
Hey, dude, the same thing goes for me, brother. I tried joining the Marines. I had the ASVAB score, the actual retention test for knowledge, in the top 10th percentile. And I don't mean that in an egregious way, but that's what my score was. And I got denied for these tattoos I have on my wrist. I was 14 and had a tattoo gun and was an extremely upset person. And so I started tattooing ideals on me like Buddha was in my conscience. and I got denied for being in the Marines because I had tattoos within 2 inches of my wrist, and that had a complication with saluting. And so it's like, well, it is what it is. But today that doesn't exist. If you have tattoos, you can get a waiver, you can get overlooked. But in 2012 or 2013, when I was attempting to try, that was not part of the world yet. And it's this weird part of like my existence that I have, like I really wanted to support my country and do my best, even if I understood that a fractional amounts weren't my choice. It was what I deemed right. And I was told no for a tattoo. Like, I think that's maybe comical is the wrong word, but that is the word that sits with me. Because it's like, and like You told me that I'm not adequate to fight for my country because of a tattoo. That's quite illegitimate and a fallacy in my mind. You know, um, I don't know. 2012.
I wish mine was that honorable because mine was more laziness. I just had a couple of pieces of paper that I needed to get signed and screwed off. Didn't do it. Didn't get it done. Didn't get it done. Didn't get it done. Got drunk and high instead. Worked a little bit. Got more drunk and more stoned. Worked a little bit more. Rinse and repeat. Screwed it up.
Well, what are you gonna do? You know, life is life. Have you had any aspirations that you wished you guys had followed through on, whether it be Spencer or Josh?
Yeah, I'll say this. I wish I had more confidence to be myself when I was at my younger age, and not been so intimidated by other people's opinions of me and the social environment that I was in. It took me some time, but like after I got through that, I was just like for the better. But holding on to that fear for such a period of time was really detrimental to myself because it's really you're holding yourself back from the world, and it's like why bother? Why let somebody else try to kind of get the best of you when they're probably not even fucking thinking about you at all?
Where do you sit with that, Josh? I mean, I know Chris being our respected elder here, and Spencer being the second, me being, I don't know, I believe the fourth, 89. Bro. But
So it's so hard to like say like if I would go back, would I do this the same thing? Because like so many different things in your life kind of sculpts you like who you are. So you kind of have to like look at, do I like the person I am today? If you don't like the person you are today, then yeah, you should have changed something. But if you're content or happy with who you are, it's how do you change one little thing? Like, because if that one little thing would just be the butterfly effect, like anything else would have changed. You might have never met your girlfriend or your wife or have your kids or go do like something awesome. Like all those little things like just are like dominoes. Like you take one out, like it just isn't going to fall the same way.
That first movie is so good.
Yeah. But like, so it's like hard to say. Like I spent about 10 years of my life working in the restaurant industry before I went into tech, and that's what I do now. I work in technology. I'm in IT. So I don't know if I would have skipped that 10 years of working in the restaurant industry, like would my life be better? Because like it was shitty, but like I did it to do it. So I don't know, like would I still be here today if I didn't do those 10 years?
Were you front of the house or back of the house?
Back at house, cook, chef.
Amen. Me too.
Oh yeah, nice.
Been there, done that, brother.
Spencer too. And all four.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I think everyone should work in the restaurant for at least 1 year. Like just kind of like the Israeli military, like you have to serve at least 1 year in a restaurant.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You got to learn how to work with people. You got to know how to finagle and stuff like that. It's like if you're going to learn about life, that's the place where you want to learn about life because you get all the views and scopes of how it is up, good, bad, shit, whatever.
100% like hardworking. Like you learn that from a restaurant. You learn how to like customer service, how to talk to people, how to work with people that are probably like drug dealers and shit like that. Like just the unsavory characters of society. But also like you bust your ass. I mean, but at the end of the day, like you still have fun. Like that's probably something the most fun I had in my life was working in the restaurant. Like just fucking with servers and doing shit like that and just each other. Like it was just usually like, it was a 12-hour shift, but it was miserable. But once it's done with, you just go out for beers and stuff and it's great.
Yeah, you always kind of felt like a rock star after work. It's like you got to go to a bar. Everyone knows your name. You get like, you buy around. After that, you get a few drinks your way. Before you know it, like, I don't know. I remember I've been a chef in various atmospheres. So I've gone through like the high-end Michelin rated stuff to like your local mom and dad mom and pop job. And like the different aspects of how you see yourself as a rock star is hysterical. And like looking like because I played all those tropes. Like even reading the Anthony Bourdain books and thinking like, oh yeah, I'm just like him. Meanwhile, it's like you're just copying him, like you would like if any impressionable person would be. And it's beautiful, but at the same time, yeah, you got to learn how to work with different sorts of people, from a drug dealer to like somebody who just like is just so far up their ass that you know how to work with them and get them steer things your way. That's what I love, especially when you get upsell. My favorite thing, like I used to be back end front of the house, but upselling is one of the favorite things. It's like, all right, how much money can I get tonight so my tip could be better? Oh, dude, great times. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I never had that, brother. I tried front of the house once, didn't go over too well. Not a customer service oriented person. I'm glad I have the job I have right now because I really don't have to deal with anybody personally except my partner and my client, and that's it. I worked at, okay, this is going to date me. I worked at Ames for about 2 weeks here in town when I was a kid. We're talking like 18. Nope, I was good when I was on the floor. I was good when I was stocking shelves. They put me on register. First day I was on register, learned it no problem. I'm good with the tech. Absolutely no issues. About 2 hours into my shift, some guy came through my register and started screaming at me about some shit that wasn't any of my fault, calling me all kinds of names. Put up with it for about 30 seconds and then called him a fucking piece of shit and an asshole and told him to go fuck himself. Needless to say, Christopher was out the door. But no, I don't do customer service. I can't do customer service. And as far as the rest of it goes, in a parallel universe, I think what I do, because I'm a flagger, I think, like everybody should spend a year doing food service. I honestly think before you get behind the wheel of a vehicle, before you get your license at 18, I think you should spend some time flagging so you understand exactly what everybody is doing wrong. People are dumb, man. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going over this, but people are worse drivers than they think they are. I'm a worse driver than I think I am, but I've gotten a whole lot better and a whole lot smarter about it since I've been doing this. The last 4 years, I see everything, because when you're driving in a car, when you're driving down the road, you may get a little road rage because you see this person cuts you off and this person doing those stupid shit, but you're only seeing the people immediately around you and passing you as they do, and then they're gone. I get to see, when we're out there standing in the road, we get to see every single vehicle and the stupidity that people exhibit, especially going through work zones. Every single day. I actually had a bus driver stop and tell me one day, he's like, your partner was all kinds of upset with me because I was, I guess, going too fast. I'm like, yeah, you were. I was, well, slow means 1 mile under the speed limit. What the hell are you smoking? Like, just one of those old things, like when you're in a work zone and you have it on stop and you turn it to slow, that's not a big green light. It doesn't mean tromp the gas pedal and go. It means there's people out here working, and you never know what could happen. Somebody could lose his hard hat in the middle of the road, reach out to get it, and if you're rolling through there a whole lot faster than you should be, bam, now you're in jail for manslaughter, and somebody's not going home to see his kids tonight.
So don't drink and drive.
It's even sober people. I'm not gonna lie. I did the same job as Christopher, and I was just standing on the top of the hill this one time, and I was in Pownell.
Pownell sucks ass. On a good day, Pownell sucks.
Closest town to Vermont, New York in Vermont, and it's as close as you can be south.
Massachusetts. It's on the other side of Bennington. It's on the way. The 7 goes straight down into Mass.
Yeah, so it's not New York, Massachusetts. And so I was working there one time, and there was a state trooper parked behind me in a cop car, and he was out of his car speaking to me, and we were having conversation. And we were talking about life and existentiality, and I mean, I'm an interesting fellow, so I can draw some quite arbitrary conversation out of the most average person. But we were full conversation, and this grandmother came up the hill, and I knew she was a grandmother, pardon me, from post conversation. But she came up the hill in a 50-mile-an-hour zone at like 65. And so by the time she got to the top of the hill, when she had slammed on her brakes, I looked behind me, and there was the 3 people who were my client and or the person who was going to sign my pay sheet to say I did a good job keeping them safe. and they were on the crest of a hill. Imagine 90% up the backside of the hill. And this lady was doing, whatever, 15, 20, 35% of the speed limit up the hill. And so she slammed on the brakes, and the state trooper jumped out of the road. And I did. And it was because I rationalized that if she didn't realize before the shadows hit her sunglasses that there was people on the other side, I would have been standing in a zone where 3 of the people who were supposed to pay me are dead. And maybe it was a bad decision, but I'm still sitting here, so clearly it wasn't. And this lady, I swear to God, at 50 miles an hour or maybe even more, slammed on her brakes 30 feet from me. Full lock up, 4 black lines in the road. You know what I mean? And this state trooper had jumped out of the road, was far off the road by the time this lady stopped, inches from me. And I was still standing in the road. And I don't mean to sit here in a an arrogant way, like, oh, look at me, I'm Mr. Hero. But like, I was just thinking about a very simple thing. I'm the breadwinner. I have to pay the bills, and my sole job is to keep the client safe. And the client was back turned to me, looking at a map for telephone poles and lines and cable lines and all these things they were going to do. And my sole job was to stop the people who were supposed to hit them. It was fucking insane. You're getting paid $15 an hour to risk your life standing in between perpetual death and an outcome of expectancy. It insanely crazy. I don't work there anymore, and Topher does, but like, Jesus Christ, you want to talk about a hard day? You're just going to work, and you got friggin' people who slept in, who are sleepy, who are trying to kill you inadvertently. But the inadvertent part doesn't make you sleep better, knowing that you were like less than a meter from death. And it's fucking scary, man. Like, I can't quantify how much my life is worth. $500, $10,000. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be egregious or an asshole, but fuck, like, what's the cost of an irrelevant person, just one of billions, hitting you in a car because they weren't paying attention?
And I puzzled that shit out in my head, and it's like, what do you say to somebody like that? Somebody already, well, I knew what I was doing. I had full control. I was this, I was late. I was like, all right, is 30 seconds of your time, the 30 seconds it would take you to slow the fuck down to go through this work zone, is that worth my life? Is that worth this other guy's life, my career? Do you want to be the one to go and tell our kids why daddy's not coming home tonight?
No, because you're just thinking about going from point A to point B. That's all it is to them. And I'm going to tell you something. I used to be a civil engineer. I was the guy who had to measure out the road so the markings would go back properly where they used to be.
So understand.
I understand completely, man. Listen, I saw live traffic. The worst part is paving a road while there's live traffic going on because it's such a major artery in the town, in the county, and wherever it is. All right? So, like, no matter what, you are putting your life in your line. And the only thing that really is like a safety, and the way I look at it is the highest safety you could possibly have from you getting hit by a car is having multiple police cars with the lights going off and the cops out there.
That doesn't make any damn difference.
No. It does. There's a level of difference of how it does make a difference. I'm not saying, no, you're wrong, that, there won't be a flaw into it, that somebody won't come over. Yes, that is still an option. What I'm trying to say is that there's a level of like how much more they're actually aware of seeing it and being cognizant of it. And when they see it, yes, and that's what I'm trying to say. When they see the lights and they see the officers, they're more aware to slow down and to make sure they're not fucking dicking around once they pass the officer. Okay, so they are on their absolute maximum level of attention. After that, you got just the cop. And then you got just the cop, and that's like, now you get into shaky territory because, like, the one thing, like, they have the uniform, which is identification there to make them worry enough. But, they also got the reflectors, too. So that's another level. So and then you got the
down by one. I almost got run down by a New York State cop one day.
Yeah, because I'm sure he was fucking. Because you know what the thing is, you develop a god complex on the roads after a period of time. I know. I used to have a god complex on the road. I'll tell you something. In the wintertime, when I wasn't paving the roads, I used to be in charge of 2 towns, and I had 7 5-ton trucks, plow trucks, to plow these major town roads. All right. And they were actually county roads, but within the town. And it was like the one town was up on a hill and the other town was on the bottom of the hill. And I had this like S10 pickup. All right. And I would just drive, and I had salt bags in the back just for the weight alone. And I would be cruising up all and down during the middle of the snowstorm, making sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to do and shit like that. And I tell you something, man, the safest time to be plowing, 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Holy shit, nobody's out there. That's the time when you can do whatever you want on the road, and you know you're safe.
Yep.
After that,
pretty much.
After that, you're just like the same as raccoons, roadkill.
Again, pretty much.
I feel for you, man. That's a rough job, and nobody realizes how much they really put their lives in their hands there. It's almost like being a fisherman out at sea. I mean, not to be as dramatic, but like there's a 50-50 shot you ain't coming home.
Yeah, you never know. The sea is very unforgiving. So is traffic. You never know when a squall is going to come up and sink your boat. Anything could go wrong. Okay. Especially and in the same vein, anything could go wrong with you in a boat. Anything could go wrong with you when you're driving a car. And most people don't understand that. I've got full control. Yeah, all right. You just pulled that car off the lot a half an hour ago, signed the papers. You don't know there isn't some kind of factory defect that's going to break on your way through this zone as you're being an asshole because you're all full of yourself and kill 3 people. You don't fucking know that.
No, but that just goes back to the driver having the mindset of I'm going from point A to point B.
Because even like Topher, like you can be as safe as you want. Like you can be doing everything right, and then some assholes just gonna hit you or clip you. I mean, like there's no control for that. Like, you've could done literally everything right, and yours can get fucked still. Like, yeah.
Oh, I've had to jump out of the way of 3 weeks in. I had to jump out of the way of a tractor trailer rolling down on me. I know the sun wasn't in his eyes because it was up over where he was. It was shining directly on me. I'm standing there in bright yellow against a dark backdrop at the end of like a half-mile stretch with a big-ass stop sign in my hand. I know he could see me. He didn't even try. I was like, waving and waving and waving, and then had to jump out of the way. And the guy on his way back through, because it was right down the road where he was going, he goes, "Man, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you." Are you out of your fucking mind, dude? I thought I was going to get fired that day for mouthing off and being an ass because it was absolutely ridiculous. Oh, no. A mutual friend of mine, Ricky's, coined it, and I've just kind of kept it because it is perfect. 5-star flagger, 2-star attitude. The company even says one day we had to usually have these big staff meetings and whatever. They even said on my way up to get some kind of certificate or whatever, yeah, he's an asshole. He's the asshole of the company. We know this. And they do. They also know I'm not an asshole until you make me. I'm awesome to work with. I'm awesome all the way around. Don't make me an asshole. Don't give me a reason. Because the switch is just that quick to flip.
No, 100%. And I think we had an absolutely killer episode. And thank you, Josh, for being here.
I appreciate the offer. Thank you.
Spencer and
you're shutting us down already? What the hell?
I'm not shutting you down, homie. I'm just letting you know that we're preaching. We're
preaching.
I just need to say something really quick. I'm listening to everything. I'm listening to everybody really passionately, but my boss texted me, so I'm trying to get this text out too. So please forgive me. I do not mean to be rude. Okay.
He doesn't love us no more.
Oh, you're 100% good, and I don't mean to rush things along. 9:15 was my goal time, having started at about 8 p.m. But at the same on the same note as that, I have to go to the bathroom, and so I'm not worried about the show going on longer. But I definitely
worried about riding the poop train,
the numero uno train. I don't know Spanish, or I would say that. It's not Trano. That's definitely not it.
No,
but,
probably not.
Thank you, Josh, for being on here, and I appreciate you coming on the show. Do you have, I know you said your podcast at the beginning. Do you want to recite it now and then plug anything else you have?
Yeah, I'm a host of the WWSD podcast. We have a weekly podcast where it's very similar to this show. We just shoot the shit, a couple buddies. We just talk about what's going on in our lives, what's going on in our state, like just general bullshit, like just shooting the shit.
You mean like this?
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I saw the videos. I'm like, this would be a perfect fit. And I'd love to get one of you guys on my show. It'd be really cool to have you guys shoot the shit with
Absolutely,
us.
yeah.
Yeah, no
but
doubt.
you can find us weekly. We drop every Monday at 6 p.m. at Simplecast. It would be wwsd.simplecast.com. And you can check our website at podcast.wwsd.info for all our videos, our episodes, and everything else. And I really do appreciate coming on here tonight. This is a lot of fun.
Not to drag this out, but what does WWSD stand for?
So we originally was good. It was what would Seamus do? He's one of our podcast hosts, but we actually had to rebrand. He kind of wanted to take his name off it. So now it's just WWSD. So it doesn't really stand for anything. We're trying to think of something cool, a cool acronym or something to use with it. But right now it's just the WWSD.
What would Santa do?
I love that.
You're killing him, bro.
And after that, it could just be after the holiday. It could just be what would Santa do?
Every month we change whatever the flavor.
So funny. Spencer, Christopher, you guys have any outros?
Yeah, I got something to plug actually. Two things. One, I would like to plug my girlfriend's. She's got this thing called Hooligans Tip Jar. It's for people who are unemployed, who are in the restaurant business. So the trick is that you donate, which you could find through Venmo and stuff like that. Again, it's called Hooligans Tip Jar. You could, like I said, it's for the people who are unemployed in the restaurant industry. This is to help them out with, the little small bills that they have and stuff like that. Trying to put food in people's mouths too. That's one thing I like to plug. The second thing I like to plug is myself. You can check me out at Letterboxd at Rufio86.
Awesome. And Topher is at Chaotic
Box.
on Instagram.
You'll like it.
Instagram.
You'll like it.
What in the hell?
With the
are you
fancy
smoking?
Instagram. He's
Yeah,
out on
we're
everything.
going into, this is the difference between pecan and pecan. What
Hilarious.
the hell, dude? Okay. Yeah, so my Instagram, I plug the show and whatever else. I'm amping up for other things. You'll see if you actually tune in, follow me, whatever. My Instagram, it's KHAOTIK neutral. NEUTRAL. One word, chaotic neutral. Chaotic spelled a little different, but whatever. I'm sure Rick, you'll put this on the bottom or whatever, and you'll see it on the way out. But that's my Instagram. Like I said, I plug the show. I just stupid little videos here and there, whatever is going on in my life that I think is relevant at the time.
100%. We will have Chaotic Neutrals, Spencer's link, and Josh's link all beneath the podcast, as well as mine that I'm not going to plug because they're beneath there. Click them if you want it. Yeehaw, woohoo. A great week. Thank you for tuning into the episode, and we appreciate you reaching this far. Have a great week.
Thank you. You guys have a great night. Stay safe and keep warm.
Yes, definitely keep warm.
Hell yeah.
And thanks for having me again. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you
It
very
was fun to see you and your collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved having you, brother.
Well, I'll move my camera a little bit so you can see a little bit more.
Oh,
Holy
baby.
shit snacks. Nice.
Wow,
See
lovely.
a sexy pair of legs.
Have a great week. Thank you very much.